please do not be someone like myself and the many others that came before me and ignore the biggest crypto narrative that will make the most millionaires, hands down, hand on my heart, say that for a fact, in 2025. And that, of course, is gaming. Now, the 3 projects I'm going to introduce to you today and break down in many different ways, including price predictions, is going to come on the fact that gaming will be the biggest narrative, hands down, in 2025. Now, I've given us a select amount of these tokens to accumulate, and that is for an exact reason. Again, we will touch on this throughout the video, but please understand this is not something you want to ignore. I am trying to get into all these 3 projects myself. Recently made a portfolio update, but I am looking to get into these right now. And I did mention that in that video as well. Don't currently hold them. Might be a bad thing I'm making this video because the price might continue to go up, but it's for your benefit. So please pay attention. Now, don't forget, if you like the video at any point in time, please hit the like button. It definitely helps me out quite a lot. Now, the first question on everyone's mind, I think, is, Kyron, why IMX, why PokerStarter, and why Illuvium? Why have you chosen these 3 projects? Well, first of all, I think it's a pretty important question. And second of all, it's for very strategic reasons, right? Number one, they're in the huge narrative I just spoke about, gaming. We'll touch on some facts in a second here. Gaming is going to explode. Crypto gaming particularly is going to capture a lot of the existing gaming market, and the existing gaming market in the real world is already bloating. So it's just going to be a recipe for success at a given inflection point, okay? Number 2, gaming trifecta. We aren't looking at 3 networks like Gala, Nakamoto Games, and Immutable X here. We're not looking at a strategic game. We're not looking at Guild of Guardians. We're not looking at Illuvium. We're not looking at, Enter X game here. What we're doing is hitting the trifecta, hitting the golden sort of triangle of the, hitting basically all the crypto narratives that you possibly can within gaming itself, right? We have the base layer itself. We have Immutable X. We have the game built on Immutable X, which of course is Illuvium, possibly, and I believe could be the biggest game in the upcoming bull run. And also, we have a launch pad looking to launch many games, which again is going to hit us in a really good spot for the upcoming bull run. But all that being said, right, that's great, but it really isn't part of the reason why I desperately wanted to make this video. The reason why I desperately wanted to make this video was because these 3 projects are extremely prestigious. They are all quality. They have all been mentioned multiple times by very big, prominent people. And again, it's for a very good reason, right? They are fantastic projects. Let's touch more on this. The 3 on your screen are going to range pretty drastically in terms of their current market cap. But don't be disincentivized. Don't be someone who thinks to yourself, oh, Immutable X is a 2 billion market cap. That's way too much. I'm looking for 100 million. Well, first of all, there's got to be a good reason why you look for projects that low, right? And second of all, don't shame Immutable X because the multiples here are going to still blow you away. Let me talk about this in just a second here. So, touching on the market caps, we have Immutable X, the crypto gaming hub. I firmly believe, and we do have people that have supported that statement, we'll touch on later on. 2.6 billion. Again, we have a gaming launch pad. This is also a general launch pad as well, launching many different projects on many different platforms. PokerStarter in the middle there, 96 million, nice and small. And we have Illuvium, of course, possibly the very best crypto game, $330 million market cap. Now, of course, we're going to touch on the facts that help support this. But as a general rule of thumb, let's touch on some of the sort of more prestige aspects. So Immutable X is looking to launch a lot of really good games. Of course, Gods Unchained. We have Illuvium itself over here, and Guild of Guardians. They have a whole plethora of other things as well. And it's not just the games they're launching, guys. It's the fact that they do have quite a lot of fundamentals that help make it a really good place to build games on. Over here, PokerStarter, right? The average ROI in the last bull run, this is average, and right now, 34.69x. So we aren't talking about, the average in the last bull run. We're talking about the average from all the projects it's launched right now. So yes, you would 35x right now from all the projects. So if you literally went asleep for the last 3 years and woke up right now, again, you would have made a 35x on every single project you got into, which is the second best by a smidgen in the entire industry, right? And it's the best for value. It's 1/3 the size of the next best, or the best, should I say. And over there we have Illuvium. That's the best crypto game, as I mentioned. Now it's actually available to purchase and download, at least, on Epic Games itself, which in of itself is quite an accomplishment, because if you think about it, this isn't something like Steam where you have to download an indie game and then, you got to unwrap the zip file and so on and so forth. This is legitimate You press download, you sign in, and you properly go through those steps like you would with many other games on that platform as well. So it's in a really good spot, and it could actually benefit from a lot of connections there as well. It's very prestigious. So with all that being said, I know we're going to touch on a very important point before we get into the projects first of all. And that's for some of you naysayers out there that are thinking to yourselves, oh, it's no BS, crypto guys just shilled me. Immutable X, it's too gone. It's 2.6 billion market cap. Wow, it's a big number, right? I get it. But please factor in this. If you're someone that's new to the cycle, this is irrefutable evidence. You've got no comeback for this, which is what I like, basically. But you've got no comeback to the fact that we've seen billions of dollars enter in these multi-billion-dollar projects. Look at this. Solana went from about a $7 billion market cap right up to in the 30s, right where it is currently right now. It gained $25 billion market cap size in 2.5 months. Insane, but again, there's more to the story. Chainlink as well. I think it was about a $3 billion market cap, went up to where it was at its peak not long ago. Over a $9 billion market cap, right? It gained $6.2 billion in 2 months. There's no excuse for you to think these projects can't pump, especially the smaller ones. Also, in addition to the factor of, hey, the projects in the general crypto space, we're in crypto, there's big multiples, can grow from that. What we have to also factor in here is that the gaming market, again, is going to be one of the most, if not the most explosive in 2025. Now, keep in mind, a lot of influencers are out there saying the gaming market in crypto will hit $1 trillion by itself. I think that's kind of overzealous. I think that might be putting a little bit too much weight on it, and be careful of that, because that's how I and many others got wrecked with this $100,000 Bitcoin prediction in the last cycle. So, being more grounded and realistic, this chart here represents the growth from the last bear to bull market. Bear market back in 2020, which is basically where we are right now in the current cycle. To the peak of the cycle, it went from 0 to 8 billion, an 8x growth, which again, going from nada to 8x is a lot harder than having something like where we are right now at a current $2 billion gaming market cap, and then multiplying that because we're established, there's more people, better games are more developed. They're more developed, that means there's gonna be more people in. So we're in a better place. This is any sort of business model, any sort of market, the flywheel's in effect like building a snowman, right? Gets bigger, faster. So I think we're gonna experience anywhere between 5 and 20x growth, maybe even more. So we're gonna see a lot of money flow in, which is why, again, I wanna put emphasis on these 3 projects particularly, because they will have a moment to really explode. Now, again, before we move on, I wanna say, okay, if you are someone thinking to yourself, oh, well, I've already invested in my main bags, it's too late. Totally get it. There's only so much amount of money we can invest every day before we start to go, all right, that's enough crypto YouTube, I can't invest any more money, gotta stop. But remember that these projects are in the gaming narrative, and historically, gaming narrative does pump at the very last point in the bull market. It had done that last time, I think it will do again. Alex Becker has also supported my statement and said the same thing. So it actually will peak likely after Bitcoin peaks, wherever it goes over to. So you have time to make money and reinvest if need be. Let's continue. Again, what are you investing in? This is a very quick couple of questions I want you to ask yourself. You've seen the potential with your own eyes, so compare this with your top holdings and tell me why yours are better. It's a very important question. Tell me why your projects are better. If you can't tell me why, well, you're up shit's creek, basically. Number 2, what even is crypto? Think about it like this. What determines a project as a crypto asset? Because at the end of the day, these projects are just simply businesses first. The tokens are simply for utility. What that basically means is we're buying the business here. These 3 projects are businesses. Yes, even PokerStarter is a business. So that's what we're focusing on here. Can the business grow? The token, the utility, of course, is the product of the business. So that's what I want to focus on, and that's what will help us kind of guide us through the BS effectively. So number 1, IMX. Let's go through this project really quickly here. So here's my predictions for Immutable X. Now, I've got my price prediction sheet. You guys should have access to that. I might even link the link down below. But Immutable X, why 2,000? Well, 2,000 tokens is a whopping $4,000 today at the current $2. Yes, it's quite a bit of money. But let's kind of put some weight on this, and I would personally wait for a little bit cheaper price. We are at the sort of top end of Immutable X right now, but again, I think we will have a slight dip, giving us a better opportunity to get in. 2021, 2,000 tokens back then to its all-time high would have got you $48,000. That's over a 10x. That's pretty damn good money. In 2025, my prediction's $40. That'll give you about $80,000. Now, while $80,000 isn't like millions that we like to know and love, for someone who can afford to invest $4,000, $80,000 is a very, very big increase, okay? And that's my prediction. I could be very wrong on that. 2029 is important because some of us, something might happen in crypto and we might not have a 2025 cycle. So what happens in the next bull run? I predict a $100 token, which gives us about a $200,000 profit. Pretty good, I get it, but there's more to the story, right? As I said, so 3 things that make Immutable X very good in terms of a gaming project. Number 1, it's recognized. Van Eck, which is a $100 billion asset manager, these guys have filed for their own Bitcoin ETF as well, have actually said it's going to be the leading gaming hub for 2024 and 2025. They're very bullish on Immutable X. Attractiveness, universal passport. These guys basically, for all their games, you typically require their own sort of wallets. Well, they can pretty much pack it all into one, and a universal passport, very bullish feature. No fees, extremely fast and secured by Ethereum. Other gaming projects can't really say that they're, or at least infrastructure chains can't say they're secured by Ethereum. And believe it or not, that actually plays a little bit into the, willingness as an investor to want to buy the project itself. And complete market dominance, right? Immutable X, hands down, has a complete dominance over all the gaming networks. So again, quite bullish on Immutable X. And let's look at number 2 here, which is PokerStarter. So PokerStarter, 1,000 POLS tokens is what I'm sort of aiming for in this case. Now, 1,000 tokens is actually quite nice. It's $1,000, right? It's a dollar right now in terms of price. The last bull run top would have gotten you $7,500. Not that crazy, but it was less known back then. Now, I have an asterisk, as you can see here, next to 2025 and 2029, and that's for a very important reason. I think PokerStarter can go to $20 and $60. Now, respectively, that's a $2 billion market cap and a $6 billion market cap. So that's actually still quite small in my opinion. But why I've ranked that quite low and why I put an asterisk here is just simply because PokerStarter itself isn't really where the gains come from. The gains come from the projects that you invest in over time. And I've chosen PokerStarter for a very important reason over here, okay? I've chosen them because they're one of the most fair projects out there when it comes to these lotteries, right? This launch pad. As you can see, number 2 right here, just beneath DAOmaker, the average ROI currently, not from the last cycle, is still a 35x, and they launched 106 projects. So they actually got pretty much the most multiples out of any project and almost launched the highest as well. Now, why I've chosen 1,000 tokens is because every single ticket is 250 POLS. And if we own 1,000 POLS, we have a 15% chance to get into a lottery. Now, the lotteries are different, right? So everyone has an equal chance to get in. You don't, if you hold more tokens, you just get more of a chance to get a ticket. Once you get a ticket, or at least you get in, what happens in this case is you have the same allocation as someone that stakes $100,000 worth of POLS. You have the same amount of purchasing power as anyone else, but it does work, as you can see, off a 7-day cooldown, meaning that once you buy and you get in, you have to wait 7 days to get into the next one. And it's also first come, first serve. You might get an allocation, but of course you have to be there fast and get in, otherwise you will miss out. But again, entry amounts are even. The more tickets you have just simply gives you a higher chance to win. Once you're in, it's very fair. So this is why I quite like it. Other projects don't have this feature, other launch pads at least. They what they effectively do is say, hey, if you invest more, you get more of a chance to get in. So this way, we can reach a 35, or at least in the last cycle, these guys averaged 100x. We could 100x $200. So that's big money we're talking about here. Now, here's some even more bullish features about PokerStarter as well. They have continuous returns. Of course, this is the whole premise of why I want you guys to focus on 1,000 tokens for the bull run. You're going to constantly earn money throughout the bull run, while other people just simply have to wait. We also have narrative exposure as well, access a wide variety of altcoins. So again, there's gaming, metaverse, so on and so forth that will come from this. But also, you have the most amount of networks out of any launch pad. You have Base, ZK Sync, Ethereum, BNB, Matic, AVAX. There's a whole host of these, right? So we have that benefit as well. And again, it is completely fair as well. Now, lastly, Illuvium. What do I think about these guys? Well, again, quite bullish on these guys too. I'm looking at 10 Illuvium in this case. Now, 10 Illuvium right now is about $880, right? So it's a lot cheaper. It was recently $100, came down, which is a good time for us to maybe possibly DCA, right? 2021, the last all-time high, we would have had about $29,000. So again, if you're talking about investing under $1,000 and making $29,000, that's a pretty good investment. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. 2025, I think we could see a $3,500 Illuvium token. And in 2029, I think minimum would be $8,000 token. Honestly, it all depends. In this case, it's a bit of a shot in the dark. Depending how the game performs in this cycle, if it's really well adopted, it could definitely go leaps and bounds ahead of any other gaming project in the entire space. So here's some of the factors that make me bullish. Number one is prestige. It's accessible on the Epic Games Store alongside Valorant, Red Dead, GTA, the new FIFA, Battlefield, so on and so forth, right? So it's next to these guys, and yes, there is other projects on Epic Games Store, but again, I believe it's a lot more prestigious, right? They could form new connections, and it's a real big start here, okay? Also, play to earn. It's going to have a big effect into the bull run as well. People from third world countries will flock into Illuvium, looking to, of course, take advantage of a way to make money while they can, of course, at least make more money than their average job, which is a big aspect as well. And we saw this in the last cycle with Axie Infinity and others as well. Now, number one game, I believe, of 2025. So Illuvium has a high likelihood of becoming the most played game of the next bull run, hinted, of course, over here by Van Eck. Now, they said, and I quote, blockchain gaming will see at least one title surpass 1 million, and I think that might be Illuvium. Daily active users demonstrating the long-awaited potential. They also go ahead and mention as well Immutable X over here, which again is a bullish thing for Illuvium because Illuvium's built, of course, on Immutable X. That's how they work together simultaneously. They benefit each other, believe it or not. Now, there is a lot more predictions you guys need to know of. If you haven't watched this video over here on my 15 predictions from the $100 billion asset manager for the next bull run, you gotta watch it, right? I'll leave the link down below. Must watch. It's really changed the way I've thought about the next bull run as well. So here we go. Finally, guys, this is the total spent and gain. So if you followed this strategy at the current prices, you're spending about $5,800, but I think if you wait a few more months or a month here, you might even get these even cheaper. Overall, 2025 gains, we're going to make a 23x overall, and 2029 a 58x. However, I want to say, with all that being said, that does not count for PokerStarter gaining from its launches. We're talking about possibly getting an extra 20, 30, maybe even a 50x on top of that, simply because every single week you are going to be entering, likely at least, I mean, fingers crossed, into some of these launch pads. And of course, you're going to be getting a lot of money coming throughout the whole bull run, which you then, of course, can reinvest. The possibilities and the gravity of this is endless. So with that being said, everyone, if you've made it this far, you'd be crazy not to like the video and subscribe if you are new around here. And with that being said, thank you all. Take good care. Talk to you soon. Bye.